everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching the first 3 episodes of Gen V, which is the spin-off of Amazon's The Boys, and I'm really glad they released all 3 of these first episodes all at the same time. It was probably a really good decision because initially when they announced something like this, a spin-off of a really successful show, your first thought, of course, is, well, this is just a cash grab. You know, they don't really have... This has nothing to do with the actual main story. It's not gonna do anything to the world. They just want another show for people to watch, you know, kind of like all those Walking Dead spin-offs where they have like 7 of them at this point, you know, because they can't let that thing die. It's just got to keep going. So of course, you know, I'm worried about this being that, you know, because I'm like, okay, it's a spin-off of The Boys. It doesn't really have much of a basis in the comics, the source material. It's just a brand new thing that they're making up, you know, so you have to be worried naturally that this is going to be nothing, right? But yeah, they released the first 3 episodes, and I gotta say, so far I'm really invested in this. It doesn't feel like it's going nowhere. It doesn't feel like it's just this pointless nothing story. It feels very connected to the world that they've built, to the Vought Corporation, and this whole celebrity culture, you know, with superheroes and all the horrible things that ends up coming out of that. So yeah, of course, there are a lot of cameos of characters that we've seen from The Boys, you know, everything from people from Vought to the directors of their kind of spoof Justice League movie to all kinds of stuff like that. But of course, it's dealing with a bunch of college students, so it's going to deal with pretty much everything that comes with that as well, you know. So they have I guess you would call it allusions to college age problems, you know, like you have someone who they don't have an eating disorder, but in order to use their superpowers they have to vomit, you know. So like it's kind of, I don't know how you would put it, they're alluding to the problems, the real life problems like that. Like this other girl, she controls blood, so in order to use her powers she has to cut herself, so it's obviously like they're doing things that younger people would have to deal with in these kinds of situations, but in a superhero version of that. But, you know, good news, of course, this is very much in the same world, so of course there's blood everywhere, there's sex everywhere, there's all kinds of, honestly, just messed up situations that they can come up with. The other thing is that luckily our main cast, so far, unless there's some big twist coming, our main cast of heroes, they're all really likable people, and they don't seem outright evil. I think that is one thing about The Boys, is that all the superheroes they meet, obviously we're dealing with adults here, people who have been superheroes their entire lives, and they kind of grow up to be all these celebrities or ex-celebrities. They all seem to be giant assholes. That's the thing, is that like all the except for like Starlight and maybe Maeve, I guess, everyone seems to have these huge personality problems and disorders, and they're all just huge dicks, honestly. But luckily all these college age kids, a lot of them seem fine, you know. We haven't seen like an outright evil one. I mean, we've seen some that are also assholes, but none of them are evil. Like Homelander is just straight up an evil person, you know. The Deep is just an evil person, you know. None of them seem to be at that level, but they're all kind of dealing with, of course, Vought and this university, of course, owned by Vought. Everything in this world is owned by Vought. They even have Whataburger, so they have like a Whataburger Vought, you know. Basically, this show is doubling down on how much Vought completely owns this world, right? Which of course is kind of funny coming from, you know, this is all streaming on Amazon, which has always been sort of a weird irony with this show. But anyways, yeah, just so far they have like this big mystery of some kind of mysterious underground laboratory, which they have touched on a little bit in the main series. I mean, they have like that one hospital where all the superheroes go, which, by the way, there's still a lingering plot thread that was never picked up on when that one patient escaped from that, and they never addressed that again. But yeah, they're doing some kind of interesting experiments on some of the students that get taken down to this hospital in the woods, or I don't know if it's underground or if it's in the woods, but in any case, yeah, they've set up an interesting mystery. We got likable characters, and of course the villains are still Vought, which honestly, I think that is the one thing about this show, is that because it's a spin-off and because it's dealing with all these brand new characters, you know, like, well, they're not going to solve that here. You know, it's not like they're going to bring down Vought and then season 4 of The Boys is going to be about something else entirely. It's like, that's not likely to happen. So I imagine at the very least they're going to be able to stop whatever this laboratory is and figure that whole thing out. But yeah, just the thing about this show, even more so, like all the world building they're doing with, you know, this younger generation of, you know, superheroes that'll be brought up within the next decade. It's also showing how it's kind of conditioning these people to become the evil asshole adult superheroes that we see in The Boys, you know? So like it's like they don't all start off that way, you know? Even the really popular kid who, you know, spoilers, he ends up dying in the first episode. The really popular kid, he wasn't evil. You straight up expect him to be like, you know, your stereotypical, like, oh, he's the popular jock and he's a huge asshole. He actually wasn't. And in fact, he was trying to stop this whole conspiracy and he ends up dying. And that leads the others to trying to figure out what happened. So anyways, yeah, I'm invested in the mystery so far. I'm just curious as to how much they're going to be able to do in this spinoff, because obviously I'm sure they want mini seasons of this, just like they have mini seasons of The Boys. But because they're both kind of fighting the same mega corporation, you know, like, I don't know what they're going to be able to accomplish other than shutting down this one laboratory, because obviously the main show still needs to be able to fight Vought itself. And I'm also curious, like, how much the rest of the main series is going to come into play. Like, are we going to see members of the Seven actually show up instead of just make like little video cameo appearances? Are they going to come visit the school and they're going to have to do something with that? I think right now, something that I am kind of, because I like these new characters, I'm worried that what's going to end up happening is they're going to bring in some of the main cast from The Boys, like Billy Butcher, and there's going to be some huge misunderstanding and he ends up killing one of our main characters in this show, because let's be honest, Billy Butcher's not the kind of person who's gonna differentiate between a superhero who's an adult asshole and a superhero who's a college-aged, just a kid who's trying to figure this all out. Like, to him, they're all the same, and he'll probably just murder them on the spot. So it's kind of funny that I'm scared of one protagonist meeting another protagonist, because that's not going to be a good interaction there. But in any case, yeah, I don't know. It's so far, they're doing a really good job of keeping me invested. It was really smart to release those first 3 episodes. And yeah, I think that is my only worry, is that, like, I don't know what you can really do about the antagonist of this show. Because, like, you can shut down one laboratory that they have on campus, but you're not going to stop Vought in this show, you know? But they probably have thousands of laboratories around the world, just like this one, where they're doing very similar experiments. So I guess the most you can do is kind of like what Starlight did and go public with the information and expose them in the media, and then they're gonna have to try to spin it a different way. That way they don't get in any actual trouble, because it's Vought. They're never gonna actually get in trouble for anything that they're doing. So, you know, again, kind of an irony, this all being on Amazon Prime. But in any case, yeah, so far I really like the show. I think all my fears of this being like a kind of a pointless cash grab just to put another product of The Boys have been laid to rest, I think, because it's clear that they actually do care about this. They put some thought into it. They're doing a lot of world building, and I actually like the characters, so that helps a lot. So yeah, that's Gen V. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll try to be doing reviews of every episode of this. So I'll see you on episode 4. Later. Bye.